This is not a Halloween special. This touran has not been LS swapped and does not make 1000 horsepower. But neither is this supposed to frighten couples, and especially soon-to-be fathers, of what awaits them.
Children, let's sing a song. The wheels on the van go round and round. I know, it must look like I was desperate for a car to review. Nothing could be further from the truth. Car makers are literally lining up to have me review their cars.
Yeah, hello, this is Driving Distilled. Yeah, about that Chiron, I'd like to do a group test with my touran. My VW touran. It's a family MPV. Hello?
VW introduced the Mark I Touran in 2003 and placed it at the smaller, more affordable end of their MPV range.
After 2 facelifts, in 2015 VW introduced the all-new Mark II, and right away the interior is a vast improvement over the Mark I's. Look at the ambient lighting, the leather steering wheel, the piano lacquer trim, the Alcantara seats. There still are hard plastics to be found, but it is nowhere near as destitute as the old one. Then look at this flat-bottomed steering wheel. You could confuse this for a Club Sport Golf GTI. But then you wouldn't. If you look in the rearview mirror, you'll see that there's quite a lot of car until you get to the back window.
Flat-bottomed steering wheel, double clutch transmission, and a sport mode. Does this mean this is the closest thing to a Touran R then? Not exactly. And that's not a bad thing. This car does not pretend to be a sports car, although it has a silly sport mode. I never thought that it should have more power. It has plenty of power. It's just the way that it delivers it is a little unfortunate. Let me put the car in eco mode to show you what I mean. Being in a car, at some point you might feel like you want to go somewhere. So you step on the accelerator. And if you're familiar with the concept of a car, you might expect something to happen. Except it doesn't. At least not in a forward motion sort of way. What does happen sometimes is you approaching a junction, seeing that a car is coming your way, and you might be thinking, I might make it, except the start-stop automatic has cut off the engine because it thought it would be a tremendous opportunity to save a little fuel. So it seems like the eco mode has been designed to discourage you from driving the car altogether. It sadly doesn't do anything to your fuel consumption. That's a lawmaker's contribution to. Now let's look at what the marketing department came up with. The other extreme in the range of driving modes, the sport mode. Because I am pretty sure that it wasn't an engineer that thought, you know what, the parent that is going to drive this car is going to want it occasionally to turn into a Lamborghini so that they wouldn't question their life choices. Or it was the accountants that thought it would be too expensive to have it removed. What the sport mode does is make the throttle more responsive, I admit. But it also makes the engine louder, because the gearbox picks always a gear that's too lower than necessary. And it's not exactly a joyous sound. Let me show you. It's just noise, like a vacuum cleaner. stick the car into normal and let the DSG work its magic, because it does a tremendous job at being a sensible gearbox. The Touran does city traffic very well, it does long distance travel very well, and if that is going to be your main use, then maybe spec the electric seats so you get the lumbar support. I have just gone on record recommending to spec electric seats. Anyway, it does a terrific job at being a family transport, and it doesn't mean you can't have fun in this car, but it doesn't do fun by having a sporty suspension or a powerful engine. I have never driven an old 911. People say that they used to have a nervous front end. I am not suggesting that this is similar to an old 911, but the front end of the Touran seems to have similar qualities about it. On a bumpy road, such as this one, you get the feeling that the front wheels are losing contact to the road surface, and just because you are turning the steering wheel does not mean that the wheels will follow suit. It is easily the most terrifying of my cars to drive, but because it's not so to a dangerous extent, it's on the joyous side of terrifying.
When I am driving the Touran, I often think about James May's thesis on how his Fiat Panda is more fun to drive than any supercar. And there's undoubtedly some truth to it. The Touran, then, is like Roger Murtaugh, one half of the Lethal Weapon duo. Amiable, a little clumsy, continually complaining about being too old for the sort of thing they're doing, and yet he always ends up doing it regardless.